the different. I mean, you're talented in different ways, and you kind of like dabble in different creative things. Like, tell us about what's your where'd you start, and what did you start doing?
Okay, for me, I had always been drawing whenever I was growing up. I was always an artist and whatnot. But for people who aren't into astrology, I'm gonna tell you something quick, just because I've learned a lot myself recently here. I'm a Gemini, and most Geminis, they like to dabble in a lot of different things at the same time. They're very curious. You know what I mean? They're very adaptable, and so for me, I like to experiment in all forms of art. I think I can do proficient work in all forms of art. Like, I'm a very good cook, and then I'm also an artist. And then like I make music, and now I do stand up comedy. And before I was producing music as well. And so truthfully, to me, it's like I just like to express myself any way I can with any form of art. I think art is a great way to understand who you are as a person, and a great way to like show others who you are as a person as well. You know what I mean? Like, even writing, I like writing a lot as well.
Within the last year, like when I first started making beats, it was like, I would, just be chilling by myself, and then like, oh man, this beat's hard, like this is dope. And then it would just be either like a little idea, and then I would just go back and listen to it over and over and over, and then nothing would happen with it. But like, really, I've learned that you just have to like, it's almost like when it starts to seem like work to me, it's like, oh, I need to mix this beat and I need to finish it and send it out. And it's just like, when I think like that, it's almost just like, it makes me not want to do it. But at the same time, it's like, well, I'm going to learn from it, and I'm only going to get better. So I just push myself to sit down and finish it. And it could be if I'm mixing, or with anything, like even going to work, going to work at Kroger. It's not just with making beats, but that's been the biggest thing, is sitting down, finishing a beat, and really being efficient with it, while also not being put in a box to where. What's your experience with? Like, I was gonna say, putting yourself in a box where you're like burnt out.
I look at myself, and I try to make sure that I'm ever changing and ever adapting, because the way I see it is that if I was already my most optimal or ideal person, I would already be living the lifestyle that it is that I want to live. You know what I mean? I live by two philosophies of either it's not your time yet, or you're not applying enough pressure. And so I always look at it as I should be willing to change myself no matter what, because ultimately I feel more satisfied with living the lifestyle that I want to live than continuing to be the same person that I am right now. You know what I mean? I think I will be much more happy to understand that I got where I wanted to get versus I stayed exactly who I was. Because maybe it's necessary for people to change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so whenever I get stuck in a rut, as far as it's like maybe like writer's block, or just like a lack of inspiration or a lack of creativity, I've never experienced a lack of creativity in any way, shape, or form. Really, I just smoke a little bit of weed and I'm fine. That's all it takes. Truthfully, it's like, I don't know. I just have so many different ideas. I have a great understanding of what I feel like people need to hear. And I just think there's a lot of stories that need to be told that haven't been told yet. You know what I mean? And so, especially like, think about it now, like there's so much going on in the world right now. Like, how could you not have something to talk about? How could you not have any type of inspiration from all the chaos that's going around everybody? You know what I mean?
Right. Especially like, I've really been a firm believer always in everybody's got a different path, and it may just not be your time. But then again, may not be applying enough pressure. But right now, there's very limited pressure to be applied, because just with the standards and the quarantine.
I don't think that's true at all. And the reason why I say that is that some people think that applying pressure is about applying or exerting yourself to finish something or do something or put yourself out there. Sometimes applying pressure could be preparation. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Kevin, you could have plenty of things that you're doing right now that are preparing you for when things open up to really have your foot on everyone's neck. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And it's really just about how you want to approach things. Everyone can make it seem like there's nothing that I could possibly do to get to the next level right now. But while you're thinking that, there's somebody else who's thinking, no, like I'm definitely trying to make sure that I'm on top, and that whenever this is over, that it is my last year being broke. You know what I mean?
There you go.
So it's really just about how you approach things, honestly. Like, still me, like, I've been doing podcasts, I've been doing short films, I've been having parties, I've been getting bitches, I've been doing whatever.
You've been having parties, Geron? What?
I mean, like, when I say parties,
gosh.
I mean, like, we have a couple of your days over at the crib, you know what I mean? You get a bunch of bottles and it, a couple of
Yeah, okay.
Right. No, honestly, all of that, the people don't realize this too, though. as a stand-up comedian, I still have to do things within my life in order to have things to talk about. You know what I'm saying? I can't sit in my house every day and quarantine. Well, I mean, I can, but I don't want to. Well, I can't sit around and do nothing and expect to have a lot of material to talk about. Yeah, it went really well. My first show, I didn't have a phone. I had plenty of jokes about how I didn't have a phone, but
I remember that.
it was very good. I remember I think the venue only holds 220 people, but we ended up having about 130 or 140 come out for the first show. And then we had another show, I think 2 weeks after that, and it was about 160 people there. I love the idea that I have now have a platform and a place to be able to connect with a lot of people and give people a different side of me that they don't always see. I hope to, whenever this quarantine's all over, I really want to open up a new chapter of comedy that I'm going to do, just because I like some of the comedy that I was doing before, but I just think it's different levels that I can take it. And truthfully, I just want to see, I feel like some people know me, but they don't know the real Geron. They don't get to see different layers of who I am as a person. Okay. And so with this new comedy that I'm going to do, I'm going to start trying to peel back more layers of who I am as a person and start trying to get a little more introspective and just, I don't know, talk about things that relate people more and just try to find a lot of the different things that I can just do to show my intellect and just show different sides of myself. I think people just only see hornball Geron sometimes or just see Geron the dude from the West End or whatever, you know what I mean? I just want to show them there's different levels that I can take it and different avenues and different ventures that I can go with my stand-up comedy. For example, Dave Chappelle, he's known as a person who's able to cross a lot of different fine lines and still have people laugh. And
he's my favorite comedian.
Yeah, and that's why he's a lot of different people's favorite comedian, because he can really speak so much truth while still being able to make people laugh at it.
But how does he do that?
It's a thing in comedy called dodging lasers. What that means is if you're able to say something offensive and someone laughs, you just dodged the laser. You know what I mean?
If nobody laughs?
Then you did it.
Okay, but what happens if you don't?
No one laughs.
You get booed off stage?
That's called not doing well. You know what I mean? Okay. If people aren't laughing at your show, you're not doing well. There's been plenty of times, and people think that dodging lasers is like a you have to be talking about very deep water stuff to do that. There's been literally times where I've had just a bunch of white girls on my show, and I said something about how white girls aren't shit, and then it doesn't work out that well. You know what I mean? I didn't dodge that laser, and so I've just learned that.
Yeah, but they still come to your show, right?
I mean, I'm Geron, so they're gonna come. Oh, but I mean, the thing is, though, that's not what I'm trying to. My point is, though, you learn after creating your own platform, you get to start to understand. I really now have the ability to do way much more than I would have if I was just on someone else's platform, taking advantage of their opportunities. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's a difference between being in a movie and the movie does well, and so you get fame because of the movie, versus being in a movie or making a movie and the movie does well, and now you have a platform because you just did it. It's a difference between being an actor that does well in a movie versus being Jordan Peele, who made Get Out, and now you're Jordan Peele. You know what I mean? You can be the person that creates opportunities and not the person that has to take advantage of them. And so now, since we have an understanding that we do have a following, do have people that are going to be there that want to see us do well, we're just trying to see how we can expand on that. You know, we're thinking about very soon trying to have more music shows. We're thinking about possibly trying to have an intermission where we have a first show and a second show. We're thinking about possibly trying to do ladies' nights and men's nights and all things of that nature. Mm-hmm. But it's really just about trying to get our foot in the door. And now that we're there, we're just going to see how we can expand on it. Pretty soon too, I want to try to see about trying to pay other comedians to come from out of state to perform there and headline, and then I go before them or anything of that nature. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I can definitely speak on what you were saying about Julia's question about the auditions in Louisville. You got to make it for yourself, for real. I've been spending a lot of time learning about branding and marketing myself as a producer, mm-hmm. and you got to build a following somehow. Mm-hmm. I cannot tell you how many times, especially a lot of the kids I went to school with. I studied audio production at Middle Tennessee State, and there was a lot of producers there, a lot of very talented people too, mm-hmm. and half the time I'd be like, "Yo, can I hear some of your stuff?"
So I want to ask you a question real quick. Did you go to school with Tay Keith?
Yes, I did go to school with Tay Keith.
See, look, Kevin went to school with Tay Keith.
I did go to school with Tay Keith.
Tay Keith beats too hard.
I talked to him once at a tailgate, and he FaceTimed 6ix9ine right there in front of me. I'm not kidding, but 6ix9ine didn't answer. But what was I saying? Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, so branding and marketing. I put beats out. Well, recently I've been focused on trying to get this podcast ready. But I was putting beats out every day on my YouTube and my SoundCloud and BeatStars, mm-hmm. and I just put out a beat tape and on SoundCloud, and building a following is so important. But what I was saying about a lot of the producers at MTSU were like, well, I don't want to put my stuff out because I don't want it to get stolen. I'm like, okay, well, think about that, because first of all, if you're a producer, how are you going to get a followings? So good comedy clubs in Louisville, enlighten us.
Truthfully, there's not really a lot of them. I'm going to be honest. I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Z-Bar seems cool.
The Z-Bar is not even a comedy club. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I turned it into a comedy club on Mondays. Truthfully, I'm sorry.
Geron's famous.
No, I'm not famous. I just did well, and I had some unexpected success.
Absolutely.
But I know there's the Cavalier. I know they have some different comedy clubs that are on Bardstown that are very good. The Comedy Caravan, I encourage everyone to go out to that one as well. But truthfully, I don't think there's a lot of different places. There's not really one place or space where a lot of people can go and do stand-up comedy or even practice the stand-up comedy. And that's what I want to change. I want to change in Kentucky and whatnot.
Yeah.
And as soon as I'm able to do that, it's just going to be one of those things where I just want to open up a lot more opportunities and ideas for people. You know what I mean? Like, I want to get people acclimated to the idea of being able to go out on a certain night and go and laugh. You know what I mean? Like, that was
What are good comedy nights? Like, is there like a...
I mean, I don't know. I think Mondays was a good day. I didn't really choose to do it on Mondays, but I thought Mondays was a good day because some people are off on Mondays. Some people don't have shit to do the next day. You know what I mean? Some people already... I don't know. You know what I mean? But the thing is, though, I just want to get people used to the idea of even going out to comedy events in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So who are some other fellow comedians that you like? I know your buddy Jaquar, right?
I mean, Jaquar is funny without trying to be. That's not Jaquar. Jaquar is not really a comedian. He's more so just a goofy individual. But my friend Imran is very funny. He's a comedian as well. Shout out to Imran, by the way. I have a friend, Eric Kimbrough. He does stand-up comedy at Comedy Caravan. He's funny as well. There's a lot of different other people that I can speak for in Kentucky that are very funny as well. Some of my favorite comedians worldwide, though, I would say, is definitely Dave Chappelle. I'm a huge Cat Williams fan as well. I'm a huge fan of Mike Epps. I think Daniel Tosh is very funny. I think he is able to put humor into like some dark spaces sometimes. You know what I mean? And I think I like him too because like he makes very like racist or misogynistic but it's like he makes jokes that towards everyone, so you can't feel like he's like targeting a single group of people. You know what I mean? He's another person that crosses a lot of lines and whatnot as well. There's a lot of different comedians that I like in general. I like Martin Lawrence and DC Young Fly because they have a different type of stand-up where it's more active and more of a physical humor than it is a humor that comes from what they're saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just some funny individuals. But yeah, Chris Rock, he's funny as well. I think he's kind of all of that into one.
I wasn't a huge fan of his recent Netflix, The Tambourine. Mm-hmm. I didn't think it was that funny. I don't know. That was just me, but I'll have to watch it again. Mm-hmm. But he is funny.
Think of that nature. I'm not trying to convince you that white girls are full of shit when I say that white girls are full of shit. You know what I mean?
Wait a second.
It's really that I created that I try to, just give you a different outlook. The whole thing about being a comedian is about having a hot take or just having a different perspective than most people or just a way that you tell stories that people laugh at. You know what I mean? There's different ways people can be funny. What you have to realize is you all being sensitive all the time does not help us be able to entertain you all at all. You know what I mean?
Camera too.
But so it's like it's more of a understanding of like just being able to have more of an opportunity to be able to tell a lot of jokes at once. You know what I mean? I don't want a 30-minute set each time I perform, but I just think 7 minutes or 10 minutes that is gonna intrigue me more about the possibility of me trying to perform. Like for example, I performed at the University of Louisville for this Kappa event that they had. And they gave me and Imran. It was amazing. They gave me and Imran 15-minute sets. You know what I mean? And so it's like it wasn't even the fact that I was getting paid for it or anything of that nature, but it was like I have another opportunity. One, I have a different environment of people that I usually talk to. You know what I mean? Okay. And then two, it's just the fact that 15 minutes, I actually have an opportunity to tell a great amount of stories and it's an opportunity to be able to really work on my craft. You know what I mean? I don't think 3 minutes every 3 months is enough time for me to really work on my craft.
So do you approach it from, I guess you kind of just said, but like, so you can, would you rather tell a bunch of jokes or a 7-minute story that's a really good joke?
People have to realize that any great stand-up comedian fits in a lot of punchlines within their material. If you laugh only once every 7 minutes during a set, that person's not very funny. You know what I mean? The point is, though, with a longer set, you have more freedom of writing.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
I didn't really think about that.
Yeah, you have more freedom of writing. I don't want to just be able to tell one story.
I've never known really anything much about comedy, especially in Louisville.
Stand-up comedy is hard, man. Like,
Yeah,
you
well,
don't
obviously,
understand-
you really got to put yourself like it's easy for me to make a beat and put it out,
Yeah.
and people don't like it, whatever. But
One of the
you're
hardest
gonna
things-
know.
One of the hardest
if-
things to do is to be a public speaker.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, like, that's one thing that everyone struggles with. You know, truthfully, like, a lot of people have a fear of speaking in front of an audience. You know what I mean? Luckily for me, I don't have very much anxiety at all, and I feel anxious only like at very rare occasions in my life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like my first few shows, I was very like relaxed until it was time for me performing. It's like the first me walking on stage. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but yeah, no, stand-up comedy is like if you're very comfortable talking to people, if you're very comfortable just telling a story or just being able to connect with people, then I think it's something that you should definitely try. And again, people who want to do stand-up comedy, please reach out to me. I love helping people being able to get started, just being able to try to get involved. And yeah, man, comedy it's a great thing to do. I feel like a rapper, but I don't even have to rhyme on stage. You know what I mean? And
That's a
like,
plus.
I'm
guess.
getting paid the same. I don't want to say the same amount, but you mean I'm a single entertainer. I'm
50K for a show.
I'm a single performer on stage. You know what I mean? And so I mean, if I do get successful, that's why Kevin Hart is so famous. He really gets paid rapper money. He's selling out arenas and whatnot the same way that a rapper would, but it's for stand-up comedy.
Yeah,
So-
that's a good point, dude. Yeah, you like Kevin Hart?
I mean, he's all right. Well, some of his older stuff is pretty good. I think that fame has kind of tainted a lot of his material and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a very talented individual.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely is. I don't know. I just think some of his stuff sometimes is just not extra, but it's just like, I don't know, just kind of boring, I guess. I don't know. I haven't watched him in a long time, but so if people reach out to you for getting in contact with for comedy, where can we find you? I got your Instagram pulled up here. It looks like at Geron Hurst.
Yeah.
Or Gerst.
Yeah, it's just and for people who don't know, my name's not Geron. It's not.
But
it's just the first letter of my first name and the first letter of my last name, and they're switched. But no, if you all are ever looking to me for me to do stand-up comedy, for me to host one of your events, or do stand-up comedy at a venue that you have, or just looking for me to help with you getting started with your stand-up comedy career, again, you can DM me on Instagram. I could probably give you my phone number. I won't say it on here just because I don't trust a lot of people. But
can't trust nobody.
can't. But no, yeah, just reach out to me, man. I'm always open. You can just tell me what your budget is if you want me to, do something for you. If you don't have a budget, just, I mean, we can still talk, but don't be mad if I hang up. But yeah, no, I encourage people to reach out to me at all
Just
times.
out of nowhere, just hang up.
Like Kevin, whenever you think about a comedian from Louisville, who do you think about?
You.
Other than myself. I need about to say that. Other than myself.
I don't know any.
Exactly. And so now it's time to try to open things up. Try to open up opportunities for people to feel like stand-up comedy is an option for them.
So is that a goal of yours?
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
dope.
I have a lot of goals, but I mean, yeah, especially with the fact that if I'm doing stand-up comedy, I feel like I'm trying to get somewhere from it. I want everyone else that lives with me to feel like they can, that's from my hometown, to feel like they can do the same thing as well.
Well, how do you feel about the more intimate settings versus like
I look at everything like that as practice. You know what I mean? Like, it's different whenever when I can only perform for 5 minutes in my hometown.
That's a good point.
Every 2 weeks.
You might as well put
versus
as
me
much
being-
into it.
Yeah, versus me being in LA and they say we can give you a 5-minute set. And I'm in LA. I'm about to try to do this as well as I can.
Yeah,
what I mean?
absolutely.
I don't know. I try to look at everything as an open experience and as an open opportunity. But again, I try to make sure that I'm not wasting my time either. And before, I feel like that was one thing that I was doing at the Comedy Caravan. I just wasn't able to have an opportunity to really like build my character up and build up a persona for myself while just only performing as short as I was. And so, yeah, I mean, anyone who feels like they're not able to have the opportunities that they want, I mean, just try to create opportunities for yourself, truthfully.
That's something I want to speak about. What you said, wasting. You don't want to waste your time.
So, how do you structure your sets?
Yeah, let me say this. Real
Okay, go
quick.
ahead.
People, I would say the biggest thing is you got to know your value and know your worth, especially in your craft. Like, I mean, I've always been the type, when I was like growing up, man, I was probably like, from what I can remember at least, like just kind of like, oh, if somebody told me to do something, I'd be like, oh, okay, I'll do it right now. But now I'm like, especially as an intern at a studio and like, where I like, what am I trying to say? Having been an intern, I get told, and I'm not getting paid. I get told to do stuff that I don't want to do a lot. Now, in certain, of course, I do it. Especially this recent internship I've had at Downtown Recording. I mean, I'm gonna do that because first of all, the owner there really likes me, and he's got me some good opportunities. But I'm not getting paid, and you have to prove yourself, especially as an intern, especially in a studio, in a recording studio in the music business.
Yeah, you definitely have to pay dues.
You gotta pay dues, but you do have to know your value. And sometimes I'll think and I'll be like, I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not doing that. But I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna tell the owner or whoever I'm working for. And then one time I had interned at a studio in Nashville, and I went back there for a day, and I walked in, and as soon as I walked in, this lady, she's an amazing mastering engineer, super dope. Now, granted, this studio is a very, very high profile. Some legendary mixing engineers and mastering engineers work there, and so if they ask me to do something, I'm gonna be like, of course, I'm gonna help them out. But it was just like, as soon as I walked in, she was like, "Hey, I've got something for you to do," and I was like, I'm not even here on an intern basis. I'm just here to. I was helping move. Now I was helping the mixing engineer move one of his consoles, but it ended up not even being at the studio. It was at his warehouse. But anyways, nothing came of that situation. I was just like, okay, but I'm only gonna be here for like 5 minutes. But know your value, know your worth, and don't be afraid to stick up for yourself. Because if it's somebody that's got experience over you that you're speaking to and speaking with, they'll understand that for the most part. And if they don't, then just tell them, be like, well, I'm sorry, That's been my experience.
I'm going to answer some of these questions
Yeah,
right here.
go ahead.
It says, Geron, where do you find most of your inspiration for stand-up? Most of my inspiration comes from a lot of my life experiences and whatnot. Since I've been trying to work towards a more introspective stand-up comedy and whatnot, it comes from a lot of different philosophical ideas that I think about all the time, important ideas that I want to get across to other people and whatnot. And I try to do that, and I try to mix different examples or different scenarios that have happened in my life to people around me that I know of that can help really display or manifest that idea that I have within that philosophy that I thought about. You know what I mean? Like the idea of like coming together, the idea of like just like breaking down racism or things of that nature. You never know. You know what I mean? But like my stand-up comedy, a lot of the times it really comes from my own personal experiences and the things that happen in my life. Is because I do think I live a very eventful life, and I feel like whenever I tell people a lot of things that happen in my life, they look at it as if it's not even real.
Cool. That's interesting. So when your next show, you lining up your next shows already?
I mean, honestly, as soon as quarantine is over, as soon as Z-Bar opens back up, guys, it's going to be like, if Z-Bar were to open up tomorrow, I would definitely be talking to my promoter about having a show on Monday. You know what I mean? Like, it's really just about whenever
you should talk to the promoter now anyway.
No, for sure. And I'm already in conversation with her as well. It's just the understanding of when the place opens up. Truthfully, if I were to give you all a direct time, I would say late June, early July, we should be having some of our first shows open back up. Realistically, I think.
I could see that.
Yeah, I would definitely think like for some of the first weeks of July for sure, we would have some of our shows opening back up. And then from there too, I've had other comedy caravan. I mean, not comedy caravans. Other comedy venues and whatnot reach out to me because they heard about the success that we was having at Z-Bar and talk to me about
what venues here in Louisville?
Yeah, I just had a few of them here. And they talked to me about the idea of me having my own shows at some of their venues as well, just because they see some of the response that we're getting and they like it. And also for you all to go to U of L and whatnot, I feel like I should be having some shows there very soon as well. I know there's different fraternities that have reached out to me as well about trying to have some shows there as well.